First truth, probably one of the worst parts about Amsterdam is the homeless people. As you can see in this clip right now, they'll go to bins. You can see right now a guy with a blue bag, yeah? He's going to the bin. Just as I pan the phone around to me, the camera around to me, just off shot, you miss it. But just as I pass him, you'll now see him going through the bin. And what he's doing, they basically get paid to fucking get the plastic and the glass, take it to supermarkets, and they get paid like 25 cents like per bottle or whatever it is. But they can make like 10, 20, 30 euro a day doing this. And that's what they do all day, every day, from morning to night. Now the second truth, which isn't necessarily bad, but Amsterdam is so much bigger than you will fucking think. If you've never been to Amsterdam before, and it's your first time to Amsterdam, trust me, you'll be blown away by the size. Not just the size, the amount of people that's there. Like, you'll be overwhelmed. In the narrower streets, more central, very central, central, sometimes it's so busy you're shoulder to shoulder bristling past people. So truth number 3 is that there's very little to do in Amsterdam. Unless you're someone that just wants to go and get high, and drink beer, maybe, you know, go to the red light district, go to the peep show, have a little, you know, a little peep, some lad stuff, then you're not gonna like Amsterdam at all. Amsterdam is a place where you go to get wrecked. You go to get pissed, you go to get stoned, you go to, you know, if you're sexually frustrated. It's more of a lads weekend kind of thing. This takes me on to truth number 4. Amsterdam is one of the most expensive fucking cities in Europe. You know, we're talking like $9, $10 a pint. We're talking fucking minimum 10 euro a gram, minimum. Some 25 a gram. So it's very expensive in Amsterdam as well. Food, you're looking at like, you know, 10 euro minimum a meal. It's a very expensive place. Hence why I ended up broke, which I'll show you in this clip. I have no more money, so I am in Amsterdam until Wednesday. I have £0 to my name, zero fucking nothing. So don't make the mistake that I did, end up going there under budget, underestimating the costs, because you do not want to be broke in Amsterdam. Trust me. So truth number 5, and this may be actually worse than truth number 1 to be fair. There are dealers lined up, and now I haven't got content of this, but I was approached about 5 or 6 times in the space of 3 days by dealers on the red light district outside the Bulldogs and the other side of the canal where the women are in the windows. And they're working like packs of 3 or 4s. You'll see, once you notice, you will see them. And they're spaced out, 10, 20 yards apart each. Now for me, it's not exactly massively intimidating, but for some people it could be like hugely intimidating. They're mainly trying to sell coke. I basically told them that I've stopped fucking, you know, I quit that shit years ago, which is the truth. But yeah, plenty of drug dealers in Amsterdam. So truth number 6, and I mean, it's not much a truth, but it's just something that's not spoken about much. Everybody's too focused on the central area. Now, if like me, you like some space, you like a bit more room, you know, and some kind of nature around you, then there's areas slightly west of central Amsterdam and southern, more south Amsterdam, where you'll see now in this clip where I'm next to a little water fountain. I enjoy the beer here. I needed some peace. I'd been in the city for like 2-3 days and it's just too much. So yeah, I chilled by this fountain for a bit, and I enjoyed the walk down. And the further I went down south, the more spacious it became. You're not so much stuck around the hustle and the bustle of the city centre. You know, jam-packed, crowds, different languages, just too much going on, you know. So it was nice to kind of get further away, and the further away you got from the very city centre, the more spacious it became. Areas that are a lot more breathable and spacious and just more peaceful than the city centre. The reason why I've mentioned this is because nobody ever speaks about this in Amsterdam. So truth number 7, Amsterdam is fucking crazy in terms of the fact that you could meet your neighbour in Amsterdam, right? You could meet your fucking neighbour, but you could also meet someone from the other side of the world.
I've traveled in 43 of the 50 states. I've been everywhere in Europe except for maybe Iceland, Norway, Denmark. the old Croatian countries, Yugoslavian countries.
Yeah.
But yeah, traveling is where it's at.
I also bumped into people from my hometown in Amsterdam. People I knew that knew people I know. That was a tongue twister. But yeah, Amsterdam is crazy. I summed it up as basically Amsterdam is a major international airport. Not the airport, but the actual Amsterdam Central is like a fucking international airport. You will see people and hear people from every corner of the world, which I actually loved. I love that shit. I love that shit. That's why I travel. That's what I'm about. I love that shit. That's not necessarily a negative thing, but I thought it's a truth worth speaking about because it's not something that I really knew before I went. And the eighth truth is that the weed is so fucking strong. Now, I made the mistake of not smoking for about 6, 7, 8 months before I went to Amsterdam smoking weed. Now, I made the mistake of going that long without smoking weed and smoking weed in the Bulldog in Amsterdam Central. I freaked the fuck out. I advise anybody, if you're not a regular smoker, if you haven't smoked consistently for a while, if you can, smoke in your hotel room. Smoke away from the public when you first have your first spliff in Amsterdam. The weed is very fucking strong. I had a major panic attack, as I'll show you now. So you're gonna have to bear with me. The last thing you've seen was me going into the Bulldog. Whoa, see, I started pranging out. Needed a fucking beer. I was walking through the city. It was only a 5-minute walk, but I was thinking, everybody's talking from different languages. They're probably talking about me. Paranoid, thinking people were speaking about me. And I was listening to, several different languages. Oh, it was fucking horrific. Honestly, the weed in Amsterdam is strong as fuck. If you're not a regular smoker, if you haven't smoked consistently, when you go to Amsterdam, do not smoke in public. Because I promise you, you will freak the fuck out. Now, the ninth truth about Amsterdam is the hostels. Now, I guess I can only speak on my experience in my hostel, but fucking hell. So to give you an example, I paid 40 GBP, Great British Pounds, for one night. Well, 2 nights, £80 for 2 nights, right? I was expecting a 4, 6, max 8-man dormitory, right? As I've had in other countries. I walked into a fucking 20-man dormitory bedroom. Can't call it a bedroom, it was like a fucking Colombian prison cell. Oh, it was awful. And I was stoned as well. I was already having a panic attack of freaking out. So, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Hostel, the franchise Hostels. That is what was going through my brain. I'm not going to name and shame the actual hostel I was in because it wasn't that bad in the end. But it's not nice. And if you're not used to that kind of shit, I mean, I've stayed in hostels before traveling in Europe previous days to this, so I was kind of used to it. But I wasn't used to a 20-man hostel. I'll be honest, it didn't turn out to be that bad, but for some people it would be horrific, and for me initially it was horrific. If you go to Amsterdam, ideally you want a hotel. Now, the 10th truth about Amsterdam. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this because I know a lot of people have said they've gone to Amsterdam and they've tripped, right? Now, I can't say about acid because actually I had some acid. Even though I didn't know it was fucking acid. But I had acid and I was tripping slightly mildly. But I was definitely tripping. So I can't speak about the acid. But I went to a mushroom shop and I didn't take the mushrooms, so I can't fully say. But the woman in the mushroom shop fucking told me that the cookies and the mushrooms are nothing. They're underdosed. You have to take like the most expensive ones and eat them all to trip, basically. Because I basically said that I've done Liberty Caps in the UK, 700 in a juice, and drank it. And she basically said, yeah, these don't touch the sides compared to that. So if you're going to Amsterdam for a mushroom trip, don't get me wrong, if you've never taken psychedelics before, psilocybin, then you probably will feel something. And especially if you haven't as well, yeah, placebo. You'll definitely feel something, even if it's placebo effect. But if you're someone that has done, Liberty Cap trips or, in the UK, and you've had a strong trip of, Liberty Cap mushrooms in the UK, then I think you'll probably be disappointed in Amsterdam tripping off the mushrooms there. That being said, again, acid. I'm not sure about the acid you can get there. She didn't mention that. I didn't question that. All I can say about the acid is I had some spray acid, and that shit worked. So acid, maybe. The mushrooms, you'd probably be disappointed. So that is the 10 fucking truths of Amsterdam that you haven't heard before. So think about what I've said before you go to Amsterdam. And if you want to see my experience of Amsterdam, which is here, click on this video after this ends and check my Amsterdam experience. Peace.